Nick Petrie.
All right, Phil.
Let's talk about another topic called Feedforward.
Right.
So this is, I would say, one of the most powerful outcomes of our leadership development program is something people walk away and says, wow, that's really powerful. It's really opened my eyes up, and it's really practical. But nobody knows what it is.
Right.
So first tell me, what is Feedforward, and why does everybody talk about feedback but not Feedforward?
So Feedforward is the opposite of feedback. So feedback, it's been around for a long time, talked about for a long time. Some of the challenges about feedback, the way it's traditionally done, if it's not an SBI format, is that feedback to start with is about the past. It's a past you can't do anything about because it's already happened. Often it's negative, people telling you something you messed up on, did wrong, so people get defensive. And third, it's someone generally telling you what to do, and so people get defensive. Feedforward's the opposite of that. So rather than being about the past, it's about the future. A future with endless opportunities, you can try many different approaches, so it makes people non-defensive. Second, it has to be something positive which you could actually do. And third, it's suggestions. These are just ideas that you could try out or not try out. You don't have to do any of these. So putting it together, Feedforward is positive suggestions for the future.
Okay, and I would say, I mentioned that there's a pretty famous research study done, 11,000 participants, 8 global companies.
Right.
And they're saying that the follow-up you do after you set a goal is the biggest predictor about whether people perceive you change.
Yeah.
And Feedforward is a method to get there.
Right, yeah. So they looked at lots of different approaches which different programs were taking, and they found the most consistent factor was, did you go back and have these follow-up conversations with your colleagues afterwards, and how much did you do it?
Yeah.
And it turned out the more people did that, the more, one, that their behaviours changed, and two, the more they were perceived as having improved as a leader. So this is a really short, simple, practical way you can do that.
So let's give people, let's just do it. Let's get into it. It's easier to do than it is to describe.
Yeah.
All right, so how do we set it up?
Okay, so if you're watching out there now, here's all you need to do. Take a piece of paper and a pen, and at the top of that page, write down one area which, if you were to improve at, would have a significant impact for you as a person or as a leader. So, for example, it can be anything. It might be I want to procrastinate less. It might be I want to be a better listener. It might be that I want to exercise more. It might be that I want to be more patient with people. So just think, what would be a significant improvement for you which would have a great impact? Write that at the top of the page. Take 10 seconds to do that now.
I have a couple things I need to work on.
Yeah, I know. I need to tell you that.
Yeah, okay, tell me.
Okay, so next what you're going to do, we're going to have a competitive activity to see who can have the most feedforward conversations in 5 minutes. All right, so here's how this works. In a minute's time when I say go, what you'll do is you'll stand up, you'll move across the room and find someone who you're not sitting right beside at the moment, and everyone be standing up. And you're going to have your first feedforward conversation. So I would go up to Phil and say, Phil, the area I'm working on is becoming a better listener. Phil's job is just to give me 2 feedforward suggestions, 2 positive suggestions for the future on how I might become a better listener.
Yeah.
Now, when you're listening to the ideas, your job's not to critique the other person. It's not to say, Phil, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard and I've tried it before and it doesn't work.
You should have thought about that last time.
Right. See, Phil doesn't care. I've asked him for some ideas, so he's given me some. So your job is just to listen, take notes, say thank you. And then you'll swap over, and Phil will tell me the area he's working on. I'll give him 2 suggestions, and as soon as we've done that, then we'll move on. And by the way, when you're giving suggestions, they don't need to be incredible suggestions. They're just ideas that someone could try out.
Like, I have a suggestion for you.
All right.
Talk less on the video and listen to me more.
I say, well, you might push it a bit. Okay, so once we've got that, then you'll go and find the next person, and you'll have another conversation, and you want to see who can have the most conversations in 5 minutes. That's the process. Ready, set, go.
Go. Right. probably want to pause this right now.
Okay, so now we're back.
We're back.
All
We're
right.
back live. So the first thing you want to do is wherever you're at, you're standing, sitting, take a look at your suggestions and highlight, circle, star which ones you think, oh man, this is a really great suggestion. All right? And just keep a mental note of that. The second thing you want to do is count up the number of conversations you had, not the number of suggestions, number of conversations you had. And whoever had the most conversations wins.
So take a minute and do that now. Okay. So next thing to do is think of one word to describe what it's like to do Feedforward. And just think in your own mind, what's one word to describe what it is like to do Feedforward as an exercise? Now, when we do this and get people to share that one word, common words we hear are what sorts of things?
Energetic.
Yep.
Fun.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. Positive. Useful.
Yeah.
So one thing to do right now is just have a discussion either as a group or in groups of twos or threes. What is it about Feedforward which makes it positive, useful, interesting, some people even fun? Okay, so have a conversation around that. Okay.
Okay, good conversation.
So, a little bit, just to finish off, Phil's just going to say a little bit around how you can actually use this at work.
Right, so I think certainly doing this with your peers and colleagues, if they're in the same location, just the same exercise can work really well.
Yeah.
However, oftentimes we find that people are dispersed all over the country or in different locations, and what I've used in the past is a way to do this on the phone, where you set it up and say, okay, what are some goals people are working on, and then just take turns rotating on the phone, giving positive suggestions for the future and what somebody can make change on that. And we found this to work really well with globally dispersed teams or just people trying to improve and working with their peers.
Right. Yeah. So it's pretty simple. It's very quick. We've seen a lot of people go back. And one easy way to do this is just think, who's already good at the thing I want to get good at? And then go ask them for a couple of suggestions on how you could get better at it. Just say, I know you're really good at this particular thing. Can you give me a couple of ideas on how I could get better? And what you'll find is people love giving Feedforward ideas like this because they love talking around what they're good at and sharing with other people what they're good at. And it doesn't make people defensive because it's about the future. It's positive stuff you could try out, and they're just suggestions. Right. They're just suggestions.
Great. So we're happy to be talking to you right now about things we know a little bit about, or at least you. Thanks.